Hello everybody, it's Joe here and welcome back once again to my F1 23 My Team Career Mode campaign. We are now at Mexico City for the Mexico Grand Prix, the circuit that is at high altitude, which presents a unique challenge of itself, but also it is quite a challenging circuit to drive, particularly the S's, especially when you're trying to find the limit. It's very hard if you don't have a flow through there to find it, and that first lap, something of a nightmare, I'll be honest. Not my finest hour, clipping that curb too hard and running wide. I'm hoping that we can carry forward, however, the momentum we had in Austin. We got a podium and we did well in the sprint race too, so a very decent haul of points, which I'm hoping to add to here. But first things first, Q1, it's P12. That's not going to be enough. We're going to need to go again. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. As we head round Piratella again, I was a couple attempts off. And that does move me from 12th to 8th. And I was hoping that would be enough to get me through. Oh, how wrong I was. We were literally such a small fraction out. But unfortunately, we are still out. We have a long race ahead of us though. So I'm hoping that we can at least move our way forward.
Back in the 60s, Mexico City would host the season-ending race, a party of motor racing. Well, we might not host the finale now, but Mexico hosts a party nonetheless. So welcome to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for the Mexico City Grand Prix. At 2,285 meters above sea level, the thin air of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez poses a unique challenge, just to a driver's skill, but to the efficiency of their engines as well. 17 corners then make a lap of this 2.6-mile circuit. Expect incredible speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and overtaking into the braking zones of Turn 1 and Turn 4. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And the smooth operator Carlos Sainz completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Perez, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Norris, Gasly, Helga, Magnussen, Albon, Ocon, De Vries, Stroll, Bottas, Oscar Piastri, Sparkles, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, Sargent, and Zhou Guanyu. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. They've been involved in a number of costly incidents lately. That's got to affect their mindset going into this race.
Certainly confidence is an important factor. And every time you're involved in an incident, it's not just the car you damage.
On the grid for this Mexican Grand Prix, 36 laps ahead of us. How many positions can we gain? It's lights out and away we go. We get a very decent launch, and the AlphaTauri next to us just didn't get away at all. And I'm now going to use this long run into the first corner to try and steal a bit more slipstream, but we're on the very far right of the circuit. I'm going to brake as late as I dare and see how many positions we are able to gain. In fact, we're able to gain quite a few there. Hauger nearly running me out of road as I tag a McLaren. I'm very sorry, I didn't see which McLaren that was. I believe it's Kevin Magnussen, as we now have a look at our teammate Dennis Hauger, and we also have a look at Lando Norris diving down the inside, sorry, should I say, and we have moved up into P8 from P17. That's 9 places gained on this opening lap, so I'm really hoping that that's a sign moving forward that we can make even more gains in this race. But for now, at the end of the first lap, we are sticking to the rear of Pierre Gasly, although he got a much better run out of Piratella than we did, and Lando Norris is about a second behind me, and Fernando Alonso is dead ahead of Pierre Gasly, and they're all running together, and Dennis Hauger in the top 10. Can we get a double points finish here? I believe that is going to be more down to our teammate, as I feel like we could secure points just fine. although I'm sticking to the rear of Pierre Gasly and hoping that I can have a challenge on the Alpine driver, and I want to get it done soon before we start losing tyre grip. But Gasly, very hard to pass as we are stuck in a DRS train, and it's getting all the more difficult to try and get by the Alpine. Using the DRS, using overtake at our full disposal, but when you're in a DRS train, it is very, very difficult to overtake, and particularly round here as well. And Gasly now is starting to pull away from us as I'm starting to struggle just a little bit with the tyres, and the sky is looking just a little bit cloudier than it was, but so far no rain. I think the rain's meant to hold off as Lando Norris has a go down the inside. In the McLaren, Norris trying to go around the inside. We're trying to hang it round the outside, but we now try and get across. Oh, using all the road and a bit more to get past Lando Norris there, but we have managed to do it. However, Norris is now going to come back at us down the long straight. Did he get out of Piratella? Well, I think he did. Norris wanting to deprive us further. In terms of race pace, we don't seem to have the pace to keep up with everyone in front of us. And Norris having, well, I assume he thought about having a look down the inside of turn one, but it just didn't amount to anything as we hit that curb too hard, and that puts us wide. And I've now got Norris and Ocon right behind me, who are in the fight for position, and I'm leading another train of my own here, trying to hold on to P8. Norris ever closer as we go around Piratella and start another lap. Is he going to have a run at us? I think he is going to have a run at us. The straight is so long, and Norris now is going to have a look to the inside, and he's going to be passed before the corner. But I'm going to see how late I dare brake to go around the outside of one. And now we're heading to the inside again. Oh, we've made contact with Lando, and I don't know how I managed to get through there. We did make contact with him, but because I pushed him wide, I did elect at that point to let him through and be the more sporting person here. I felt like it was only fair to let Lando through, given that I had pretty much, for all intents and purposes, shoved him off the road. But next time round, I've got the DRS. I'm not finished with the battle. Just because I let him through temporarily doesn't mean I'm done with the battle. Norris goes to defend the inside. I'm going to the outside. Side by side into one. Norris goes deep. I go even deeper. And this time, I have collected the position of Norris in a clean way. But he is now going to come back at me as we head into the chicane. But I don't think he's close enough. I don't think he's close enough to get the run. And so for now, we're still ahead. But Norris is not letting this go. I'm going to the inside. Norris to the left. I think he's got that done. Is he going to try and defend? No. As we're going to brake very late down the inside. And is Norris there? Yes, he is there. It's side by side again. And I'm on his left, side by side down the straight. Norris nearly had it, but I made a late dive. And this time, we're still ahead of Lando Norris on lap 10. But the amount of time we're losing fighting Norris now is really not helping my race moving forwards. But I decide on lap 16 to pit in and take on the hard tyres to the end. Now, we have had a delayed pit stop, unfortunately, due to an error. And that means that Esteban Ocon, who pitted before me, has now zoomed ahead. He was behind me, but because he pitted before and I had a slow pit stop, that has given him the position. If we'd had a normal pit stop there, I feel like we could have defended Ocon, and I've gone very deep into one, so that's not going to help me either. But we are back down again with a bit more work to do. There's Norris coming out of the pits, dead ahead of us. I'm going to hold the left. Lando's coming across. He's almost run me out of space there. Luckily, I had the width of a Formula One car to use. That's the space I used, and I've got back ahead of Lando Norris. Esteban Ocon is still ahead of me, and Pierre Gasly is still ahead of him, and Lando Norris in the end out of the race on lap 21 out of 36. So it's an unfortunate end for Norris. Meanwhile, Verstappen, who pitted in early and took the lead, is now losing positions hand over fist because according to my radio, I heard he has a problem. So Max Verstappen is limping with mechanical gremlins, and that's just allowing cars to go past him. George Russell now round the outside, taking P2 from the ailing Verstappen. Next up, he's going to have Charles Leclerc taking P3, and Fernando Alonso, who's in 5th, is going to now want an opportunity. He is going to take an opportunity. Alonso moves up to 4th, and Verstappen is falling down the field. Next up is Sergio Perez, and in his home race, he's having a look down the inside. Verstappen's trying to hold him out, though, and Max keeping the position from his Red Bull teammate, not letting Perez have a go at this one at all. But I feel like Sergio getting through is inevitable at this point. It's as inevitable as the tides. And we're now watching Perez get the run. He's going to pull to the left, and Sergio Perez getting past Verstappen, moving into 5th. Verstappen is only falling down the field, and Pierre Gasly is now getting interested. And we are trying to catch Esteban Ocon, and Pierre Gasly's out of the race. So Pierre Gasly, who was looking at a potential P6, is now out of the race. He's pulled off on our right, and that means that we now move back into P8, taking it from Gasly, but we weren't able to catch Esteban Ocon, whose early pit stop moved him ahead of us and up into P7, so Ocon's going along really nicely here. But our race pace isn't necessarily as strong as it has been on the last couple of tracks, and we are in P8, and we are lapping quicker than Albon and Bottas behind us, but not that much. So at the moment it is looking like I am going to have to settle for P8, but there's a yellow flag behind me, no idea what's gone on there, as we head round into the S's, and that's a red flag! Oh, that could change everything for us. What happened there? It looks like Kevin Magnussen in the McLaren has had a moment. Yes, he has. Round he goes there. And are we going to see a traffic jam? Yes, we are. So, because there's a traffic jam, the organisers had no choice but to throw the red flag. So, race control deciding that was worthy of a red. This, however, gives me a moment to just decompress and rethink how I go about the last few laps of the race. Obviously, we're going to go on to soft tyres because there's like 3 laps left of this Grand Prix, and we're going to start on lap 34 on the grid for a 3-lap shootout to finish the race off. It's lights out and away we go. We made an absolutely splendid getaway off of that, and already up into the top 5. But I'm so not done here yet, and look at this. Russell down the inside, Perez and Sainz, all 3 of them side by side with each other. Alonso's trying to get involved there as well. I'm trying to capitalise and not hit anybody. We've got past Alonso. I'm alongside Carlos Sainz now in P4, and we've found the inside line. I'm going to dive down the inside of Russell and Sainz, down the inside up into P2. But Sergio Perez now takes the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix. Perez leading his home race. We're in P2 now, and this restart has just completely transformed our race. We were looking at potential P8 to finish off here before the red flag, but the red flag got thrown, and now we're in P2, and I'm thinking, can we just apply the tiniest bit of pressure to Perez? Truthfully, no, we couldn't. The Red Bull just too fast for us, and I was giving it absolutely everything though to try and get closer to Perez. But it is Checo's day. He comes round the Piratella and wins his home race, but it's a splendid surprise for us in P2 to grab 18 points. I did not expect that a few laps ago, but I will take it.
Incredible result today.
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Well, that red flag really transformed the race for us, didn't it? Before that, we were looking at a potential P8, and I'll be honest, the race pace just wasn't there for us today. But the red flag came in, and we were able to capitalise on that and grab not only a podium, but the fastest lap as well, to secure 19 points and a very surprise result, I'll be honest. Like I said, when there was 10 laps to go, we were in P8, and I just did not expect, for whatever reason, that a red flag was going to come out and completely transform everything for us. But it did, and I'm grateful for it. And we are now P7 in the championship on 143 points. It's been a great season for us, especially in this half, and we are looking quite competitive moving forwards. But Fernando Alonso carries on his championship lead, with George Russell still lurking. Max Verstappen is also lurking, as is Carlos Sainz. This is going to go down to the finale. I'm pretty sure of that, but I'm just happy that we had a solid race there too. And we are closing in on Charles Leclerc. Is he going to be takeable in the last few races? It's going to take a lot to do so, I think. Red Bull leading the Constructors' Championship by 25 points. Ferrari are lurking. Thank you for watching this instalment of Career Mode. Don't forget, as always, to leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you're new here and you want to see more content from me. Until the next time, I've been Joe, TTFN guys, ta-ta for now.